Today we're going to be talking about, is buying a house in America in 2025 hard? Okay. We're talking about this because what I noticed recently, I went out of my YouTube bubble and I'm like, oh, I'm going to talk to some news stations about housing because I feel like there's a lot of misinformation out there. And I was on not one, not two, but over 3 different channels where it was always started with, well, Jennifer, we know that buying a house right now is really hard and many people are just thinking they'll wait forever. And I'm like, what is going on? What is this narrative, right? Here's the thing that you need to realize. Are there some parts of the country that are very unaffordable? Yes, I'm not going to BS you. Los Angeles, not affordable unless you make a lot of money. New York City, same thing. Miami Beach, same thing. Naples. I mean, look, we could list a bunch of different housing markets across the country where you have to be making mid-6 figures to buy a starter house. And what you need to recognize is most of the news that you're watching on a national footprint are in those markets, right? So people know what they see. And I'll see that in my comments a lot as well, is you'll have one person saying, oh, there's nothing for sale, like we're never gonna get a house, we got beat out 20 times. There's another person in the comments saying, oh, they're giving away houses here, there's so many, it's so easy, but we don't want them, right? There's a huge disconnect. So is buying a house in America hard? No. Is buying a house in certain areas, unless you're very rich, hard? Yes. Yes. Okay, so quickly for perspective, I'm a lender licensed in 48 states. I actually started off my business in California in the Bay Area. So I'm very used to a market that feels and is hard. And the reason it's hard is affordability. But after being in all these other states for a pretty significant amount of time, it's not a reflection of the rest of the United States. Like, that's the thing that I think everybody needs to recognize is like what you're seeing on the news, check your local market, right? If you're watching the news going, oh God, they're saying home buying is expensive, I'm never gonna buy a house, they're saying no one qualifies, check your market. Okay, so if you're in Georgia, Ohio, Kentucky, Texas, I mean, pretty much everywhere except for California, you know, the expensive states, we know what they are. California, Oregon, Washington, New York City, which yes, you still have upstate, which is affordable. You know, Florida, coastal, very expensive, inner, not as much, you know. It's going to vary by the market. So that's the first thing you need to do is check your local market, see where the housing prices are. Are there people in America buying houses, 3-bedroom, nice homes for $150,000? Yes, yes. And then the next comment I get, honestly, I might call this video responding to comments. I don't want to be in a bad area. Guys, it isn't necessarily in a bad area, right? Like, look, you could spend $1 million and be in a bad area, okay? So I think the concept that lower price means bad area, I don't think it rings true for all of America. I really don't. So here's what you need to know. Is buying a house hard? No, not if you're in an area that has some level of inventory and affordable housing. And the country's very split right now. So cool, let's say you open up your map and you go, oh my gosh, Jen, there are houses for sale. They're 200, they're 300. These look like I might be able to afford them, but I don't have 20% down. I can't get 20% down. Why are you getting 20% down? That's like old school. That's like 1984. You need 20%. Otherwise, you're going to pay mortgage insurance, and mortgage insurance is very expensive. Here's the deal with mortgage insurance. If you have good credit, mortgage insurance is not expensive. If you have bad credit and you're doing a conventional loan, yeah, mortgage insurance is really expensive. We're going to be looking at FHA. Do you have to be a first-time home buyer for FHA? No. Okay, well, wait a second. So how much am I putting down? Conventional first-time home buyer, 3% down. 3% down. FHA is 3.5% down. So on a $400,000 house, $12K, right? Not 20%. I can't stress it enough. And if you're like, well, I really want to wait till I get to 20%, just do the math. Like, have a lender do the math and show it to you, because a lot of times I'll have buyers where they're like, well, I can do 20%, but I wanted to see 10. I show them 10 with the mortgage insurance and they're like, oh, I'm going to do that because I want to keep some money in my account. Okay. So no, you don't need 20% down. If you're a veteran and qualify for a VA loan, that's 0 down. If you're in an agricultural area and meet the requirements of USDA, that's 0% down. Okay. There are down payment assistance programs as well, but realistically, you know, in a perfect world, would you have some level of down payment versus a down payment assistance program? Yes. Okay. Yes. Just because many of the down payment assistance programs are going to have higher rates and fees, and the goal is to get you into a house that you can comfortably afford. Okay. The next thing that I hear is, well, I heard that you have to have perfect credit, and they're not even giving loans to people with perfect credit. Where is the perfect credit? Like, I don't see it. Like, perfect credit is not a requirement. Like, for a conventional loan, credit scores go down to 620. VA doesn't even have a credit score requirement. It's based off of credit history, you know, and FHA, you have a lot of lenders that will easily go to 550. So no, you don't have to have perfect credit. And sometimes what I'll hear is, well, I'm at 700, but I really want to get to 715. That's not going to change your pricing at all. And certain loans, even if it's like 720 versus 680, it doesn't change the rate. Okay. Credit scores impact is more on rate than anything else, but with certain loans, it doesn't have that same impact. Those loans are VA and FHA. Okay. So important that you realize, no, you don't have to have perfect credit. Then the next one I hear is, but I haven't been at this job for 2 years. I was at another job before this job. I'm like, okay, have you been gainfully employed for 2 years? Yes. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Here's the thing. Buying a house right now in 2025, I would argue in terms of the mortgage products we have available, we have more available than ever. Okay. Now, I'm always talking about the super vanilla stuff, the conventional loans, VA, FHA, and USDA, and some jumbo. But there's a whole host of other products. There's like a world for investors where they literally just put down money. We don't even look at their documents. We're just looking at the investment. You know, if you have a ton of assets, but you don't have income, there's asset depletion. There's a lot of different loans out there right now, way more than we've ever had before. So the message of this video is simple. As a mortgage lender, do I talk to people every single day and go, you know, Barbara, you've got perfect credit and you've got a job, but you don't have No. What happens more often than not, and if you go and you check out my Google reviews, you'll see it. I never knew I could buy a house till I found your channel. And the reason is there's not a lot of education on home buying. The stuff that you see on the news is very scary. And then the stuff that you read online, it's not even written by mortgage lenders. It's people going, hey, can someone talk about this? And sometimes it's a real estate agent talking about mortgages, but they Googled something from 1984. So here's my message to you. If you've been thinking, I would like to buy a house, okay? Call us. Let's talk about where you are in life. Let's talk about what your goal is, and let's put together a plan. It's that simple, guys. 786-933-2077. I literally have 2 people on my team whose whole job is to help you guys plan for the future. One of the reasons I do this is because before I was a mortgage lender, I had no idea how to buy a house. Like, no idea. And the reason's this. They don't teach it in school. You know, I went to a good college, but they didn't teach it to me there. My parents were renters when I was living with them, so they never taught me how to buy a house. You know, I didn't have a clue. And I think that's so common in America. And then you combine scary headlines, you know, and then channels that just try to scare you. And it's like, you're like, I'll never be able to buy a house. But it's much easier than you think. It's within reach. Okay, so look, questions, comments, if you want help planning, reach out. But a lot of the stuff that you guys are seeing right now, it's based on markets that is not a reflection of the United States. Are there markets that are unaffordable? Yes, guys, yes, I'm not gonna lie, yes. but there's a lot that are affordable. So the key is knowing what market you're looking in and what you can accomplish there. Thanks for watching.